everyone, welcome back to Black Moon Coven. So here I am, really quickly, we're going to be talking about warding magic. We're going to be talking about a method of protection magic, and that is what a ward is. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's really strong walls coming to protect your home, your space, whatever the case may be. So there are two different types of wards, one that is permanent and one that is temporary. The temporary ward you see a lot when you are casting a circle for a specific ritual, for spirit conjuring, for different spell works where you need the added protection. That is when you see the temporary wards, because you put them up and then you take them down. A permanent ward is something around your home. You could put it into a charm, you could put it into necklaces, but just because that they are permanent doesn't mean that the magic will be in there forever. Magic needs to be charged up to keep the ward fresh, to keep it solid, to keep it not old. You want to keep refreshing the ward. That's why a lot of witches have protection rituals that they do every new moon, every full moon, whatever the case may be. I do one probably about once a month, but I also have various charms that I will display later in the video to kind of protect my home and to further that protection space. So like in my case, apartment living and witchcraft kind of suck because you can't go outside and surround your apartment building in black salt. Of course you can, but there's going to be some questioning eyes and there's definitely suspicious behavior going on if you're walking around at night spreading powder everywhere. But nonetheless, there are different methods that you can do to protect your space. So the door to your home should be where you focus your wards. That is the coming and going of your home. That is the threshold, a very important part of your home. The door first, then the windows. Magic can come through a whole variety of ways. However, the windows and doors are two of the biggest things in your home because it's not a solid wall. So when you are warding your home, you're going to be focusing on those areas. There's a plethora of different things that you can do. You could do powders, you could do incantations, you could do an actual spell, you could go by each opening and do a symbol or mirrors, or there's so many different things that you can use for warding that you can do. Now, warding is a type of defensive magic. Usually warding is done after something happens, but it's always smart to do it before something happens, so you have that invisible shield in case someone decides to send something your way or something decides to come your way. Warding your home is really, really the responsible thing to do as a witch. Your basic concerns when doing magic is protecting the house and everyone in it. So as a witch, that is your number one priority. Your number one responsibility is to protect your home, to protect yourself, and to protect everyone that lives within that home. Now, I'm not saying protect it from entities or all those spooky ghoulies that are running around. I'm talking about other witches, negativity, stuff that people trek in from their daily lives, that sort of thing. So the threshold to your home is definitely one of the most important. Like I said, apartment living, you can't really draw or paint the door to kind of reflect what you want to do with the ward. However, I do have some charms posted by the door and above the door so that everyone coming in will be cleansed of that energy that they bring in, because I want my home to be a sacred space. And that's another thing that as a witch, you have to keep up that witchy housework and really keep up the warding and keep up the cleansing and sort of thing that is kind of going along with your sacred spaces. So we talked about the two different types of wards. There are permanent and then there are the temporary wards. Now the temporary wards, like I said, you can see in the methods of, spirit conjuration or any rituals that you feel like you need the extra protection, so on and so forth. The permanent wards are around your home, in charm work, that sort of thing. So now I'm going to kind of display some of the things that I have to protect my own home. There are a couple of things that I will not show in the video just because I don't want to give away all of my secrets. But here is a really good tip and a really good trick, especially one that is really cheap and one that is really easy to do, is you grab a mirror. And I got this mirror from the dollar store. And what I do is I put a protection seal on the back of it. and I hang this in my window going out. So the mirror part going out. And that will reflect anything that'll come back, come to me or come towards me or come back to me. It will reflect that. So it's kind of not a ward, it's more of like a defensive shield, but basically the same thing. Also, I have a quartz crystal that hangs by the door. Quartz is a really great energy cleanser. So that's why I hang it by the door, because I want people coming in to be cleansed of that negativity that they bring in. I don't want that shit in my house. So I don't want to constantly be doing cleansings. Instead, I put that by the door just so it'll be cleansed. Also, I do different types of washes. I wash the door of the home. I make sure that that's cleansed. I sweep by the threshold. I wash the threshold, wash the floors. That's very important, and that's going to be coming up in another video where I'm going to be discussing home witchy housework that every witch has to do. This is a protection jar. So spell jars are very, very popular, and I can understand why. This is a type of permanent ward. Spell jars are a type of condensed magical energy. So you put this here and it will radiate that protective energy. It'll disrupt the energy in the place and point it to a protective type of shield. So I have my protection seal in there along with some elderflower, and the actual protection spell that I did, I encased it in here. So double power, and then I sealed it with some wax, and that sits by my door as well. I have a little table there where I put the protection jar, the quartz crystal, and then the mirror I hang outside of my windows. So those are just little simple ways that you can do to protect your home, not only from, magic that could go wrong or could be coming back to you, but other witches and negativity and things like that. Also, sweeping is a really, really good idea. Cleansing your home often is a good idea. Keeping it nice and clean is also a good idea, just to raise the vibrations. But anyways, that is another video, witchy housework. So basically speaking, a ward is a protective barrier, and you are going to want to put one around your home. If you don't have one, or if you have not done anything like that before, I recommend you do so. I think that protection spell work should be the first thing that witches should be learning, just because it comes back so much to protection and knowing how to protect yourself and how to defend yourself, especially from other witches and negativity and all this different shit that's flying around. You want to learn how to protect yourself and keep your home a nice sacred space, because it is a sacred space. You are doing all of your magic and all of your rituals and everything else inside the home. So you kind of want to keep it like a temple almost. You kind of want to keep it really cleansed and really protected and just really locked down. So a couple of different ways that you can also ward your home. If you have your own home, you can do protection powders, black salt, surround your home. Please, if you are using salt, don't put it on the dirt because it'll actually kill the plants. But a really great substitute for salt is eggshells, and they're highly protective. So use that in your black salt instead of salt, or in your protection powder instead of salt, use eggshells, because not only are they good for the dirt, but they're really, really protective. So that will surround your home. Also surround your home with rocks. You can make a natural rock circle just going around your home. That seems to work as well. It's a pretty much reinforcement of those walls that you have. So black salts, any powders, you could actually do spell work where you are, you are astrally putting the walls down. So you are visualizing the walls of like a castle locking down. That's what I like to visualize, like those big iron doors coming in and just locking it up. Nothing comes in or out. So it's a seal. So there are plenty of other things that you can do. Like I said, you can do crystals, you could do powders, you could do different things like that. Charms, we've seen a couple of different things that I like to hang around the house just to have that cleansing but also protective properties. Now by my door also, which I'm not going to show, but is a witch's ladder, just because it's tied in such a weird way, I don't want to untie it. But it's a witch's ladder, and it has a bunch of different things that really emphasize the protection of the home. I even soaked it in protection oil and black salt, so it's just really, really ringing in that protection there. A couple of things that are on there is a pine cone, a bell, a key, sort of little things around the house that really represent for me the protection of the home. So as you can see, wording magic is very, very important for a witch to learn. All manners of protection is really important for a witch to learn. I think that protection magic, like I said before, should be the very first thing you should be learning, especially spell crafting wise. You should craft your own protection magic, your own protection spells, just because, there's a lot of nasty things going around, especially out in the world today, and other witches and things like that. You really want your home to be a nice, safe, secure, peaceful, cleansed space, a temple, essentially. So I think that is it. I think I've done enough talking about wards for one day. Join the coven and subscribe if you have not done so already. Place any comments, questions, or concerns down below. And follow me on all the cool aminos that I'm a part of. I will place them down below as well. But besides that, have a lovely rest of your day.